Today I'm going to be talking about why I named my content Growing Like Wildflowers. And for me, wildflowers plays a huge role in how I see myself, in the way it shifted my identity, and in the way I kind of searched for the lies that I was believing and learning how to break free from those lies. It's kind of funny because when I came across the verse in Matthew 6:25 through 34, it was talking about how God was taking care of everything, and how, not to worry, because, God even cares about wildflowers, the flowers of the field, the grass of the field, and those things are fleeting. But when I heard that, I heard something deeper, something that was not necessarily explicit in the verse or even the same context of what the verse was trying to come across. But for me, I heard Jesus created the wildflowers. He knows what they look like. He dresses them. He takes care of them. And for me, that was the first time when I realized, oh, I am seen, and I am wanted, and I am loved, and someone cares about me. And these were all things that I learned kind of not to believe. I kind of grew up feeling misunderstood or misplaced, or even kind of just pushed to the side a lot of the time. And so when I heard these verses, even though it had nothing to do with what the verse was actually trying to say, it really, really changed the way I saw myself. And honestly, it gave me the will to push through and fight in some of my darkest hours. Because even when I was feeling like I didn't trust God, or when I was like crying and wanting to blame God for everything, or afraid to just like let Him lead, I knew He still saw me, and He still loved me. And no matter what I said or believed or said I believed, He was there just loving me through all the hard pain. And in my darkest hours, when I did not want to trust that God had my best interest in mind, He was reciprocating steadfast love and compassion and giving me strength that I didn't even realize was coming from Him. Just like wildflowers, they come back year after year, despite hot summers and freezing winters and maybe the occasional wildflower. Their roots are grounded in so much strength that they'll just keep coming back. Their roots are grounded in something that is more than what the environment is inflicting on them. And honestly, that's how I felt. I felt like I could keep coming back year after year, month after month, day after day, and continuing on my journey. But in order to actually have the strength to keep on day by day, moment by moment, especially in those hard moments, I really had to do the work of going back and remembering when I first started believing those lies, that I didn't matter or that I would amount to nothing. And I had to really fight that. And it's funny because looking back at my life on a broad scale, you wouldn't see anything wrong with it. I had a loving family. I had, good friends. I had a church community, all through, I would say probably from like third grade on. But the truth is, there were many moments that I collected along the way. And when all those little tiny moments come together, they turn into this big, huge identity, or this rock that you're carrying around. And so I really had to fight those things. Something as little as, actually, I'm sorry, it's not little. It's actually pretty big. So I'm going to actually retract what I said there, because that's also a lie, is that those little moments are insignificant, because actually those little moments are huge and big, and they do start at a very young age. I will say, like, for example, in elementary school, I was very tiny and I would get made fun of a lot. I would get made fun of for being small. People would run around me and tease me. I would have a lot of people around me that were kind of mean and bullies and made me feel uncomfortable. I struggled with school from a very young age. I would get pulled out of class to take tests. I would go see doctors to get put on medication, and that wouldn't help. And so, it was like always a fight at home to understand like what I didn't understand about school. I got held back in elementary school because of my grades and feeling like I couldn't learn, and that kind of like followed me throughout all my school years. And those were like those moments that first started the seed of feeling like I'm not smart enough, or I have no talents and I'll never be good enough to do anything or pursue stuff that I really cared about. And honestly, those beliefs stopped me from pursuing a lot of different career paths because I thought that they were not available to me. And there was something that I wish I understood more when I was younger. Another false belief about me started, I would say, in junior high. I went to a church with this girl, and I was best friends with her at the church. And then I found out I was going to the same school as her, and I was so excited. But when I got to that school, she was a completely different person, and she did not treat me the same way. And she ended up actually turning other church friends away from me, and I didn't understand why. I was just completely like outcasted from her. And so those moments were kind of seared into my brain, and I felt like, I wasn't good enough, maybe. So there's that. And then when I got to high school, we had moved to the area, and I had left my best friend behind, and we had to start finding a new church. And so everything was new, and I was just completely isolated, and I had to kind of figure out, where my place was, especially in high school, especially as a freshman in high school, in an area that was like more, it wasn't like super affluent, but we went from like the scary side of town to the nicer side of town. So even small things like trends or fashion were completely different from one side of the track to the other, and learning how to kind of navigate, learning how to make new friends, and also being seen as just the good girl, Christian girl, but also, people thought, oh, she's amazing, she's perfect, she doesn't do anything wrong, she's like gets good grades, and like I didn't even get good grades, and so like even their perception of me was wrong in that. And I would start to fight that image, and I would like refuse to listen to like music that I thought was too girly. I stopped wearing t-shirts with like certain names on them because I didn't want to be seen as like only preppy or something like that. So I was just like, starting to put away the things that I enjoyed, or not necessarily put away, but I would say maybe I started to kind of monitor the things that I enjoyed or liked in order to put out a specific persona. And then, so those were just like, that's when I think I started believing really, truly like wearing those lies and thinking like I had to present in a certain way or people aren't going to like me. So those are a few moments of my past, and some examples of what it looks like to collect moments along the way that end up building and growing an identity that you carry around with yourself. Obviously, there's things that happened in, my college years and young adult life and becoming a mother, but we'll get into those type of things in a different video. But for now, that's just kind of like the foundation of like the identity and kind of where it is all grounded in. In the next few videos, I will like be touching more on like my family and like the things that I wrestled with through that growing up. And then those of you that don't follow me on Instagram, I'm going to reintroduce what it looks like to use certain tools to help identify some of these false beliefs, and just how you can kind of pinpoint patterns in your own life. So keep watching, keep following along, and more videos are to come.